Do you see yourself as kind of having helped in this, bringing Persian music back in a certain way, having learned it from a very young age and kept with it?
Yes, indeed. I mean, I was lucky because I was born in a musical family. My mother, she sings beautifully, and she also writes poetry, as well as she arranges songs. Sometimes even she composes songs. So, according to scientists, you know, from the time you're in the womb of your mother, you hear the vibrations and the sound. And she was a singaholic person. She was constantly singing around the home, whether she was cooking or you know, she had 5 of us in her hands, so we were 5 kids. She had a lot of work to do at home, but she was always singing. And by the time I was 4 years old, I started singing and taking classes and lessons.
What was it like learning music as a child growing up in Iran?
It was really the most beautiful experience. I was thinking about it a couple of nights ago, like as a child, when I was singing, I was truly becoming intoxicated. It's like as you getting naturally high, unbelievably pleasurable. When I sang, I became drunken. And now I teach, and I teach a lot of children as well. I see sometimes, because in children, you know, they don't hold back, they're more natural. Mm-hmm. And you look at their eyes, you see it's like as if they're drunken. So yes, I was totally getting intoxicated with the power of music. I remember myself when I first time bought a Persian instrument at the age of 13. My older brothers looked at me and says, "An Iranian instrument?" You know, like it was not considered cool and fashionable to play an Iranian music. You know, if I played guitar or piano, that was considered great, cool. You know, so. But I always had a very strong personality. I knew my, I mean, at the same time, I was playing the guitar in Iran already. But I guess I had more, my heart, my soul was pulling me more towards the traditional Eastern music, Persian, Turkish, Kurdish, you know, Armenian, all of those things, even somewhat maybe Greek. Incidentally, Chinese music is somewhat, there are similarity in closeness. I did not allow neither my brother, even my parents, sometimes my uncles and their friends, to affect me. Despite their mockery, I bought it, I considered it, I played it. And this is, of course, way before the revolution I'm talking about. This is like 13 years prior to the revolution.
I wanted to ask you more about your kind of upbringing and your musical background. Do you remember a moment when you decided that, you know, this was it, that you wanted to create music?
I did not think that I would make a career out of this and would dedicate the rest of my life to it. If you're independent, like my first music teacher was a judge back in Iran.
Really?
He was a judge, he did not need that, and as a matter of fact, he never took a penny, neither for teaching spirituality, nor for teaching music. He had plenty of money as a judge, and he said, first of all, spirituality is not for sale. And he quoted the word of Jesus. He says, Jesus said, even though that he was Muslim, he says, Jesus said, freely, freely you have received, freely, freely give, is in the Bible. So he said, if spirituality was for sale, Jesus would have charged. So spirituality is not to buy and not to sell. Same thing for spiritual music. So he suggested, you know, and we learned, he never decided for any of us to do anything, but we looked at him as an example. And all his sons are surgeons and doctors. They also greatest musicians in the world. Same thing. So I decided from the age 13 that learn music parallel, but also have a different source of income.
So it seems that music is more just a part of your life.
Exactly. It's actually a more important part of my life. You know, like I say, it's too precious, too holy to jeopardize it with materialistic needs and you know, dealing and wheeling. So I studied to become a micromechanical engineer, and I have another second degree in linguistics, which I used to make a living, and used the first, you know, 15, 20 years, I just use it for internal development, for meditation. But later on, you know, some professional people saw me, including World Music Institute in New York in 1981. That was my first official concert. He discovered me and he invited me, and I didn't see anything wrong with it. So I did what I wanted to do, spiritual music. And ever since 81 till now, almost 28 years, I've been independent, and I do what I believe in. If they like it, God bless them. If they don't like it, still God bless them. But I do what I believe it's right, and I do what I love.
So we'll be back in a minute with Amir Vahab and take a look at some traditional Persian instruments.